We're going to have, guys, multiple risers and one-line diagrams. The first thing I'm going to do is one line diagram. The one-line diagram is typical for the power system. So here's what I would like you guys to show on the one-line diagram. You're going to come over here with basically an overcap protection device, meter, overcap protection device, meter, overcap protection device, meter, overcap protection device, meter, overcap protection device, and a meter. All these it's going to be meter 1, meter 2, meter 3, meter 4, meter 5. Out of these, you're going to have panels. Out of each one of these, going to have a panel. So that's what we call the one-line diagram. And all these, I would like you guys to box them in. Okay. So the one-line diagram is basically, tell my friend, the one-line diagram is the skeleton that puts the whole electrical system together. From coming from the Excel energy, the electrical utility, into distributing the power directly to the system. So what you're looking at is a box like this. Inside this box, I'm just going to say 500 amp. You guys going to size it. It's going to be a 240/120 volt system, right? 60 hertz. And the name of this panel is main panel. And now, if you guys name the service panel, whatever, that's going to be the main panel box. It's typically a meter center that has all the meters inside it and distribute the power to all the equipments. Then these, you need an overcap protection device, 100 amp, 100 amp, 100 amp, say 100 amp, 100 amp. You guys will be sizing these. When you're done with your load calculation, you're going to be able to size these overcap protection devices. This will be P-1, P-2, P-3, P-4, and P-5. These are all the panels that's going and feeding the building. Does that make sense? The flow of logic in it, Chris, especially you, my friend, you're a computer engineer. You bring the power to the meter center. From the meter center, you distribute the power to the panels. And Nick, we always stop at the panels. When we go to the commercial project, we will talk more about the difference between a riser and a one-line diagram. So just for the time being, think of a riser or a one-line diagram from a power point of view. It's bringing the power to the building and distributing the power to the building. And Rob, we stop right at the panel. We don't go down to the branch circuits. Right at the panel. Cool? Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing, we need to also show that right in here, this is going to be, I'm just going to say 1 4-inch PVC schedule 40. Inside it will be 3 conductors, number 600 kcm. Again, all these numbers, you guys will verify these numbers. You have to verify all these numbers. Why 1 conduit? Because we're going to put them all in 1 conduit. Why 3 conductors, 2 hots, and a neutral? Now, tell my friend what happened to the ground, Chad. Do we bring a ground from the utility to the building? Do we bring a ground from the utility to the building? No. We only bring the 3-phase and a neutral, or the 2 hots and a neutral. No ground coming from the utility transformer or power line into your building. You create your own ground. Okay. The second thing, guys, you're going to do, most likely these will end up the same size, all these. So grab them together and size them. Here's a conduit. I need 1 conduit. Suppose that this was 2-inch EMT. Inside it, I need 3 conductors. Number, let's just say number 3. And I need the type of the installation, guys. THHW. In here, it's going to be THHN. This one will be typically different. The 5th one, say 1 inch, 1 conduit 2-inch EMT. Inside it will be 3 conductors, number 1 aught. Again, all these numbers have to be verified. All these numbers have to be verified.
Are these written on the diagram?
You guys are going to size them.
Is this information written on the diagram? It's a yes or no question.
Which diagram? I'm sorry.
Okay,
Is this?
You're describing a one-line diagram.
Yeah.
That we are to create.
Yeah. Yes, this have to be.
Is the information agreeing to appear on the
Yes.
one-line
Everything that I wrote here is to appear in the one-line diagram. Thank you. I misunderstood you.
All right.
Everything that I write here is to appear as is or in some form on your one-line diagram. Very good point. It's not explanatory. Okay? Any question guys about that's it? That's your one-line diagram.
I'm going to use a guide wire on the aerial. Is that grounded or is that isolated?
You can use it as a ground.
It's a typical
Ground. They use it as the guide wire. You're going to go over. If you were to do that, the messenger. You're talking about the messenger, right?
Yeah.
The messenger will be used as a ground equipment, grounding conductor.
Sure.
Oh, you mean the utilities?
If you see the one
It's
I've
grounded.
seen is
grounded.
typically connected to the mast and that's got a big thing going
Yep.
on the ground.
Yeah, that's grounded. Yeah, the messenger is grounded.
But if it's underground, they don't have to bring it.
No.
Okay, thank you.
And the reason why I brought that messenger is really not as a ground. It was just the load. Yeah, load. But you have to ground it though because it's right around the electrical equipment. Any question guys about the one-line diagram? So that's what you guys are going to do. Show something similar to this. Now, Ashley came and she said, Chad, I would like to use an NM cable instead of EMT inside or USE cable. No problem. I suggest to use conduits inside EMT, outside PVC conduits. Any question guys about the one-line diagram? Before I move into the security riser.
PVC more expensive or
PVC?
can be consistent with the material.
You can use PVC. There's nothing wrong with using PVC. My PVC is my conduit of choice underground. If I go overhead, it's EMT. But can I use PVC indoor? No problem. No problem. Okay, any question guys? This will be PDF too. So I'm going to go to the second riser, security system riser. Security system riser, guys, it's going to look something similar to. I have, here's my panel, my security panel, and I do have a couple of things. I have horn and glass break. So I have, in this area, I have, say, door contact. I have door contact, window contact. That would be zone number 1. Suppose I have how many zones? Typical of that one. I also have horn slash strobe. That's my output. I do have keypad, if any. Typically you have a keypad where you can program it. Typically you have a power, which is 120 volt power to it. And typically you can have also a phone line. Okay, so power to power it. Phone line, so you can dial the police or dial the security company that taking care of your business. Keypad, you guys have seen the keypad, program it. Now, if you did not put a keypad in your design, sometimes the keypad is right part of the panel itself. Sometimes they move it to the other side. Zone 1 is door contacts, motion, and window contacts. I think we said 3 zones or 2 zones, I can't remember. So if you have another zone, door contact, window contact, that will be zone number 2. Phone strobe is annunciator. And then I think, did we say motion detector too? I think there's a motion detector in one of these zones. So if it's here, this will be motion detector. Did we forget anything about the devices? Window contact, door contact, motion detector. Now, right next to each one of them, in each zone, did we make 2 zones, right? We made 2 zones. If you made 3 zones, you just keep adding them. Right next to each one of them, guys, put me a number. So there will be like 3 on this, 2 on this, 1 of this, and the same on this. In this zone will be, say, 1 on this zone, and 5 on this zone. This will be 1. Just to get you an idea how many of these devices you have, and they're all in one zone. Any questions about it? Input devices, output devices, keypad. We're coming. This is security system, riser. Yeah, we're coming to smoke detector. They're not part of this. Huh? Yeah, security system. They're not part of the security system. Okay. The last thing I want to do, guys, is the wires. I need wires, right? I need to wire this. So I need wires. So what I would do is I use 18.2 for everything. For this security is 18.2. Well, you know what? We use either 18.2 or 18.4. So let's just say I'm going to use for wires here and here and here. These are all wires, typical, and here. All these wires I'm going to be using 18.4 cable. All these are going to be wired with 18.4. The phone line, I'm going to have one phone line, basically 22.4 cable for the phone line. And for this one, guys, I'm going to be, there will be 14.2. That's it. So I have 14.2 power. All these are the wires that's going to be wiring this equipment. Now I take Ashley and I give her the whole wires. I give her this riser and I say, go wire it. No problem. Here's a box, pull a 18.4 and go to each one of them. You can get away with 18.2, guys. You just, all what you need these contacts is 2 wires. You put them in series and you bring the last wire to the device. Any questions about this? Why do we do something like this for the riser? Because, Phil, if I don't have a riser like this, how do I know how the security system is going to be put together? That kind of puts the whole security system in one perspective. Does that make sense? If I show you guys where all these contacts are located in the building, I tell you here's the box they're going to be pulling an 18.4 wire from one to another to a third, and you're going to daisy chain them. Would you be able to do that? No problem. And they're going to be called zone 1. Now what I want you guys to do, this one is going to be for every apartment, So what do you need to do? Right underneath it here, just say typical of how many? Of 4. That's it. Typical of 4. I know one apartment is going to have an extra contact. So for that particular apartment, you can put a keynote that says apartment number 3 will have an extra door contacts on zone 1. Done. So I can take this one and do every apartment exactly the same. Nick, does that help when you wire it? If you are to wire it? That's what the riser is. The riser is supposed to be the backbone of the security system. All how it's put together. Any question? Now, how many zones you can add here? You can add as many zones as you need. 4 zones, 5 zones. The way we zoned them, I think it was, we did 2. Any question? These are initiation devices or inputs. The horn strobe is the output as well as the phone line, so you can call for help. May I move to the... We did that one. I'm going to move to the TV. I'm going to move to the TV. Cool? Everybody's okay with that? Again, this is PDF. Okay, so let's go to TV riser. For the TV riser, guys, I have, oops, let's do a different color here. For my TV riser, I have a box that's coming in here, and I say main, I'm going to call it for main TV. From this one I have another box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, and this is coming into each one of these. And from here, I'm going to typical. This is TV jack, and the same thing, TV jack, TV jack, and this is TV jack. And how many, I can't remember how many you guys did, how many TVs, otherwise you just put the TVs like this. I think we did 4, if I remember right. So put one of them, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these will be coaxial cables. Coaxial cable. And all this stuff, all these guys are going to be coaxial cables. So coaxial cable, typical for all. I would here for all. Does it make sense? Just put coaxial cable, typical for all of them. You're going to bring one coaxial cable here, split it into 4, go to every apartment, split again into 4. And what I want you to do right next to the jack here, how many, typical of how many? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have 5 in others. Does that make, okay, so this will be TV, what did we say? TV, say that you named this one TV-1, TV-2, TV-3, TV-4. Now these names, depending on how you guys name it, you might have named it TV P1, P2, P3, P4. These are the splitter that you put in every apartment. Whatever you named it, don't follow the naming convention. As long as you name it a way that you did it, main TV, and the others will be TV1 splitter, TV1S, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, as long as you reflect it. All the wiring will be typical of coaxial cable, right? Just coaxial coming in, split through the building. Now, typical, if you guys do TV, how many of them did you have? 4, typical of 4. You can say 4 here, 4, number of TV jacks, I have 4. So you have 4 jacks, home run for each one of them. Done. Now, if I give you this one, Chris, you wired, you take this one, bring the coaxial cable, in 1, 4 out, hook him up, go to the other one, in 1, 4 out, and you go to all these jacks, time to the jack and up and running, you're done. Now from each jacks, guys, you can put, if you have a cable TV, what they do is then you have a receiver plugged into each one of these jacks, one or multiple jacks, and then you can get out of the receiver cable TV stuff. You still need the receiver at this point. You're just getting the signal to a point. From that point, you can put your receiver to take the signal. Any question about the TV, guys? This is only one way of doing that business. Can I go to the phone and data? May I go to the phone and data? No? Wait, Chad. Nick, does it make sense? And now if you did yours slightly different, and you get the message, it doesn't have to be identical. You convey the message. But Rob, my friend, can you see how hard would it be to wire the TV if you don't have this riser? Really? Because what did you guys do when you laid out your TV jacks? What did you do? You just put a TV jack, set, and a splitter. How would I know how are you going to be splitting the system unless you show me on a riser like this? That's why we have the risers. More info for the people to install the system. And if I want to bid the system now, I can see I have splitter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splitters, plus the cables in between them, measure the cable, plus the cable to every jack, plus the jacks, I'm done. Can I go to the phone data? Yes? Okay, let's do a phone data. Phone/data riser. Now for the phone data riser, guys, I'm going to start with the main, I don't know what we called it in that one, phone data, main phone, or better, this is main phone, for a better, and then I'm going to have each one of these. This is kind of interesting. This is the main. Then I'm going to go to main phone. I'm going to say phone. I don't want to say phone. What did we say? Phone data. I'm going to call this one phone P, or what did we say? Let's just use main phone. Phone. This would be actually displayed main phone. Main phone. That's good enough. But this, let's put another P here to separate the main phone panel, just to separate it from MP. And this will be main phone panel -1 for the apartment 1. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have my cable coming in from here to here. Out of here, I'm going to go to another panel. That's data. Data. What do we call this? Is your data. No data panel, I guess. -1. And from here, my friends, I'm going to go out with all these data lines. And here's 1, 2, 3, I can't remember, 4, and this will be phone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here for one of them will be phone, jack, or outlet. This will be TV. This will be data. Data. Jack. Now the wires I'm going to use here to come into this building 18-4 cable out of this 18-4 cable. For all these guys, all of them, I'm going to take 18-4, 18-4. I'm sorry, this is phone line, right?
Yeah.
It should be 22.
22.
Yeah, thank you. Or let's, I'm going to go with 4 just to give them an option of having 2 lines.
I know the data would not be that way anymore.
24 cable, 22 cable. Chris, this is a suggestion. If you guys find it differently, label
No,
it differently.
literally, they would put a thing called a DSL in your home if you received it from the phone company.
Yeah, and that's what this is supposed to be. The DSL line.
The DSL is going to be in the apartment. The phone line go up to the apartment, the DSL hangs on the phone line, the signal is superimposed over the 2 wires.
Yeah, that's what we're doing though. Is you brought the phone line to a splitter, you went to the phone jacks first, then you took one of these lines into one of these one of the jacks you can plug in your DSL line.
The DSL line and the phone line are the same.
The same piece of equipment.
Same pair of wire.
Yeah, but to split the signal, don't you need a DSL device?
In the apartment.
In the apartment, and that's what that's in the apartment. That piece is inside the apartment. So then we took these will be Cat 5s. All these will be Cat 5. Cat 5 or Cat 5e. Okay? And then what I would like you guys to do here, I don't want to draw all of this. I just want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. and these will be basically typical for all the apartments, right? The other side will be typical for all the other three apartments, or three apartments. Okay, Chris, now you brought here this. Did we say Chris we're going to bring 22.8 here, or 16 cable? I guess we gave him two, probably 22, 16, 22 gauge / 16 cable. So we brought this one to the main. We split it to every apartment. Inside the apartment, we have a splitter that took it to every phone jack, right? These are phone jacks. Then from here, one phone jack went and fit the DSL line, the DSL, what do you call this, hub. And from here, you can take wireless, or you can take Cat5 cables. I have this is typical what I have in my house, is you plug it into an outlet. And you get your data from, you're right, you get your data from that two-wire. Now there are other systems where you can get your data from the coaxial cable. Do you have the coaxial?
Yeah,
you
get both ways. The coax is much better.
Coaxial is fast. Yeah, you get coaxial cable. Okay. Any questions about this? So two options. When you're done with this, either you copy this, tell my friend you copy this here 3 times next to it, or you just show these lines and say typical for, I don't know, right here, and right here, and right here, typical for apartment 2, 3, and 4. I'm fine with that one. It's going to be, for the most part, the same. There's one outlet different, right? So we're going to take a line and do the same thing, typical for apartment 2, 3, and 4, right? Does that make sense, guys? So this chunk of stuff here is really going to repeat itself 4 times. Repeat itself 4 times. Any question about the phone and data? This is only one way, guys, of doing it. By any means, there's so many ways. Please, the abbreviation that I gave you, you don't have to stick with them. If you use abbreviation in your project for your splitter, use the same abbreviation. Like instead of APP, if you use P phone / data M, use that one. I want to do the fire alarm, guys, which we really don't have a fire alarm, but I want to get you into the fire alarm riser, as well as phone and HVAC, which is very easy to find. Yes, no, move. Okay. Let's do the phone, doorbell riser. Well, the doorbell riser was really nice, guys, easy. You have your chime here, and you have one button here, one button here, and you have a power going to power. The wires is, remember, say use, let's say 18.2 here. They use 16, I believe. 16.2. Can I use 18, by the way? What's the difference? 16.2, and this is 14.2. Okay, that's it. That's the chime. You powered the chime, and you took a 16.2 to the front. This will be front. Same. This for the right and back. Button. I spell that right. Front and back buttons, you push the buttons. And 16.2. Can I use 18.2? By the way, when it comes to low voltage system, class 2 and 3 circuits, guys, you can use 18, you can use 22. The only difference, anybody knows what the difference between using 18.2 or 18 or 16.2? Voltage drop on the circuit and the length. The longer the circuit, the further the distance is, the more they use 16, the bigger the conductor, right? That's why if you go 18 and the more amps you want. So for phone lines, 22 is good because we don't have a whole lot of amps coming out of it, signal. But when it comes to the security system, as well as the doorbell, especially security, you could end up with number 14 conductor for security to pick up the certain sensors, if it's far away. Can I use number 4 out if I want to? If you can terminate it, yes. Most of the security system low voltage guys are less than number 14. Number 16, 18, 20, 22, these are the range that you're in. Any question about the doorbell riser? The second one, guys, is heating, cooling, / cooling riser. For this baby, we have an AC unit, and we have a furnace, and we have a thermostat, right? And what did we do? We brought this here, and we brought a wire from here to here. We care less about anything else, only the power. And this will be 18, probably 16.2 here, or 18.2, or 16.2. 16, actually 16.4 here. 16.4. 16.4, 18, 16.2. That's it. That brings the signal between the furnace, the air conditioning, and the thermostat. Now, I trust that the AC is going to have its own power. These are not power, guys. These are just to show the... So you need a thermostat cable then, 16.4, that goes from the furnace all the way down to the thermostat, and 16.2 to go from the AC all the way to the furnace. Why 2, why 4? You really need to know the control. It could be 4, could be 6 cable, depending how many wires you want to carry to do the control. These are all class 2 circuits. All these are class 2 circuits. And Rob, my friend, class 2 circuits will be with me next quarter. When we move to the quarter, we're going to talk about class 2 circuits, class 1, 2, and 3 circuits. Control, signaling circuits. The last one was the fire alarm. We really don't have a fire alarm system to speak of, guys. Can I move? I'm going to say fire alarm riser. I hate to use that word. Fire alarm riser. Now, disclaimer, we have no fire alarm panels or annunciator panels, or we have no fire alarm control or annunciator panels in this project. We will be doing in next project. This is just prepping you guys to think about risers for fire alarm system. Okay, prepping you. Take this. The only for this building, guys, what we did is we have smoke detectors, basically, smoke and smoke and smoke, and they're all wired. This is my riser for this system, and this is power. And this system was, what was it, 14.2, and here was 14.3, right? 14.3. And right here, I'm going to say typical for all apartment. Notes, and you can put a note here, guys. Note number 1, apartment number 3 have extra smoke detector, right? Right? Apartment number 3 has extra smoke detector. What else? Is the common? Do we have the common smoke? Do we have 1, 2? So count the common smoke. So let's say typical for all apartments and common. Common place. And if you put note number 2 here, common place have 2 extra smoke detectors. And you guys want to count how many of them they have. Does that make sense? That's it. So this, what you're looking here, is typical for all the 4 apartments as well as the common. The only difference is one apartment will have an extra smoke detector and the common might have 2 or 3 extra smoke detectors. How are they wired? All the same. Right? The same way. We loop them with number 14, 3, and we power them with the 14, 2. Any question, guys, about the risers?
Do we have any other reference marking of the risers?
As in, is it coming from my basement or is it coming from somewhere else? Like code reference?
Yeah.
Low voltage is not. The only thing I can refer you guys is chapter. There's one chapter talk about these in this book. Low voltage. Yeah, something in. There's a bunch of them. Chapter. If you go to chapter 26, chapter 26 talk about risers for low voltage. Not in details that I did. Chapter 26. These are coming. Low voltage, guys, and it's coming from multiple sources. For example, fire alarm system, it's going to be coming from, what is it, 72? Yeah, I think 72 is the code that talks about fire alarm system. There's so many codes that talk about different things. If you go to page 550, 554, it's the same thing that you're looking at. 554. If you go to page 567, have a security riser with more details than you can even imagine. All depot? Now, do you believe me? No, but the code doesn't talk about these. No code references. If you're looking for an NEC code reference, the closest you can get for an NEC code reference is there's an article that talks about 760, I think, fire alarm system, but it doesn't say anything about the risers, or it just tells you the type of the wire that you use. Plenum rated wire versus riser wire. So it talks about the type of the wire. And you cannot, another thing they tell you in the NEC code book, it really doesn't tell you risers. It tells you, for example, fire alarm system. If you have a full spiel fire alarm system, low voltage, you cannot install the fire alarm cables in the same conduit with power and lighting and equipment circuits. Common sense, duh. So these are large stuff that they talk about this one. The installation for fire alarm cable, low voltage fire alarm cable, they talk about this. So that would be Article 760, if I remember that right. Yep, 760 is fire alarm system. But if you just leave this one until next quarter, guys, because really what we're going to be doing fire alarm system is not, this is not a fire alarm system. This is power equipment. We're going to do fire alarm system next quarter when we go fire alarm control panel, fire alarm annunciator panel, and all these initiation devices and initiating devices and annunciating devices. Okay, does that help a little bit, guys? That's all. These are all the risers. Why risers? Because we need to know how we put the low voltage system together, how it's put together in the building. Nick, my friend, too much talking. Because of this, I'm going to give you guys until Friday to finish that. Is that good enough? Is that fair? Nick, my friend, you are my fair man. Okay, that's it. Thank you.